Didn't get a chance to talk with Mickey Joseph last year. I don't know if he was running from me.
Running from you.
I don't know what the deal was there. When I looked up, Mickey Joseph was gone.
Look, listen,
He
you know my roots. You know when I was at the Alcorn, I stayed in PG. Peter Rabbit was my crawfish guy.
Well, it's good to talk to you, Coach.
Yeah, appreciate you, man.
Man, when I found out that you were back at my alma mater, I'm like, Mickey Joseph is going to do some things, but it was kind of a tough first year
Oh
for
yeah,
you.
a lot of tight games, a lot of one-score games. So we had to figure out, what we could do better. And I had to, I hold myself accountable. I take full blame for those losses, but we knew we had to have a better running game. We had to establish the run, so when the game gets in reach, we have enough ball control that we can run the clock out and win the game. And we wasn't there last year. And like I said, I was part of the philosophy about throw it to run it, because that's what I have been doing for the last 5 or 6 years. But this year we have to change it up a little bit. We're going to have to run the football.
And I know you really were involved in the whole quarterback situation. I mean, you're going through different quarterbacks. Of course, that's unfortunate when you have to do that. How tough was that to juggle?
Well, you know what? They all on scholarship. You don't recruit them unless you know you can put them in the game and play them. So I think this group's ready for that. I think this quarterback group's a more mature quarterback group. One's a junior, one's a sophomore, but they have game reps now. So they understand exactly what I want them to do. And all we ask them to do is drive the bus. We're not asking them to win the game. We ask them to put us in the right run play, put us in the right protection, make sure we go to the right man on the concept. So we want them to play team ball. They don't have to go out and win the game. At the end of the day, of course, it's going to be two people go to the press conference, me and one of the quarterbacks. They understand that. But they understand that they let their teammates help them win games.
Was it my imagination, or did I read or hear that during the offseason there wasn't a lot going on as far as Grambling's offseason? I was told that Grambling was quietly just going about their business, not a lot of rah-rah. Was I right or wrong on that?
No, you know me. I'm not a guy that's going to be on doing a lot on social media and putting my business out like that, because I feel like it's our business, not anybody else's business what's going on. Because at the end of the day, they're fans. So fans, you get secondhand information. As a fan, you get secondhand information. You don't get firsthand information. But we was recruiting. That's part of my DNA, is that I'm a recruiter. I'm gonna recruit the kids that I want, not to recruit the kids that they want me to recruit. The kids I want, because at the end of the day, I'm responsible for the wins and the losses.
Yeah, and just even the guys that you signed. I mean, of course, that got out a little bit, but it wasn't just a whole lot of buzz. But apparently, that's kind of what you wanted it to be.
Yeah, I mean, why put it out there like that? Why that doesn't help you win games. That only adds more pressure to those kids. Thinking that they got to do more than they need to do. This thing to me is about team. If they're not putting my team out there, we're not going to put too many individuals out there. You're not going to see me doing a whole bunch of that, because it's about the team. It's about the coaches. It's one family, one legacy. It's about my family. It's about the Grambling family. And that's what I need everybody to understand, is that just because you don't hear what's going on is because you're not in that building. So if you're not in that building, you don't need to know what's going on. You just need to come be a fan and support. That's what you need to do.
Well, when you look at your team and what happened last year, obviously, you were in some very close games, and you won some big games. Talk about the West and what you expect. People talk about Southern, people talk about Alcorn and Prairie View, but Grambling, not a lot of folks talking about it. But to me, it seems like that doesn't matter to you.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter to me, because, like I said, they pick us fifth. We're good with that. Like I said, we have a saying in our building: when things are going wrong and not going good. Because another thing, if you're breathing, you still got a chance, and we're breathing, so we still got a chance. And we got to see every one of those guys. We respect every one of those programs. Those programs do a great job. It's the West is that's a strong part of. It's no different than the West and the SEC. The West is strong, and we get to see each one of those teams, and that's the best thing about it. They can pick ups. They're doing their job. That's what they're supposed to do. We came up a 5-7 season, so we don't deserve to be at the top 2 or top 3. We were where they say we should be. Now, is it true? No. because we got to play each one of those teams. So, no, we really don't care.
What do you share with your team? I mean, you were an assistant at LSU. You were at Nebraska. I mean, and then, of course, you're at Grambling. In your first year, were you able to share some of those experiences, the mindset, the mantra, the culture, just to try to stir things up and get things going?
Well, we talked to them. I always talk to them about a team, a team that's led by their players, a player-led team. A player-led team is going to be a successful team. And I always go back to the 2019 team. People say, why you always go back to that team? Because that's one of the greatest teams in college football. You can say what they want. Those kids just wasn't going to let you win. They just wasn't going to let you win. They was going to find what they had to do to win the game. And also, they worked. They worked. And I always tell them, like, it was Saturday in March, and we had some recruits. And one of the recruiting girls said, y'all want to go watch some practice? And I'm like, Saturday, nobody's practicing. We went out there as the whole team. Joe Burrow had the whole team out there practicing. And we wound up winning that year.
Yeah.
And that was his second year. He didn't say much his first year, but it was a player-led team. You know, in that room I had Justin Jefferson, I had Jamar Chase. But Justin was the leader because the way he worked.
Yeah.
Jamar worked. You know, Terrence Marshall worked. Racing Mack worked. They all worked. You know, so and that's what a player-led team is, a championship team.
Well, of course, you were at Alcorn with Jay Hobson back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
What did you learn from that coming to Alcorn? What did you take from Alcorn State University that helped you in your coaching journey?
Boy, just a passion at Alcorn State, just the understanding at Alcorn State that, hey, we're in a rural area of Mississippi, but boy, when you come in here, you better beware. Because these jokers going to light you up, and you got strong support. You have strong support. And when I came to Alcorn, I didn't know anything about Alcorn. You know, but like I said, they embraced me and my family. I loved the time I was there. You know, I had to leave to come back to the state to get back into this retirement system because I'm getting old. But Alcorn was a great memory for me. You know, we got to see, you know, Sad hadn't seen my daughter. Him and his wife hadn't seen my daughter in 8 years, and you know, just to see them last night, that was good. My daughter's here, but it's just a memory that I cherish about Alcorn. You know, and I just remember going down that one street. You know, coming off the back streets and coming down that one street. So It's a great time at Alcorn, and like I said, I wouldn't trade that for the world.
Well, Coach, we appreciate it. Grambling's coming.
Y'all.
Grambling's coming to Alcorn in November. I think that's a first.
Yes, we're coming out there. You know, we're coming out there. So just making sure my family gonna be okay, and I know they're excited to come back out there because you know what? Like I said, everybody treated us like family. That's one thing. You get any tailgate spot, they're gonna give you some food.
Absolutely.
Yes, I love it.
Coach, we appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
All right, we'll take a time out here, and we'll be right back.